The cave that shouldn't exist. Jack Rivers was just a regular miner. He didn't wear armor, he didn't carry weapons. He wasn't special, just a man with a dusty helmet, a tired face, and a drill that buzzed more than it worked. He worked, on Mars, deep in the red rock. Every day was the same: dig, load, rest, repeat. He worked for a company called Red Core Mining. They didn't care about the workers, they just wanted metal. The rarer, the better. One cold morning, Jack's scanner picked up something strange. He almost missed it. A faint signal. Soft, like a whisper. The scanner blinked. Unknown metal detected. Huh, Jack said to himself. That's new. He looked around. The cave was old. No one came down here for months. Dust floated in the air like tiny red ghosts. The walls were smooth, too smooth. That's when he noticed the shape. A small crack in the wall. But it wasn't natural. It was clean, sharp, almost like it had been cut with a laser. Jack felt a chill. He touched his radio. Base, this is Jack. I found something strange. The radio crackled, then silence. Base? Still nothing. Jack frowned. Of course. Dead signal. Always when it matters. He bent down and pointed his flashlight at the crack. The light shone through. It wasn't just a crack. It was an entrance. Against his better judgment, Jack squeezed through. On the other side, he found a tunnel. It wasn't made by nature. The walls were carved. Symbols glowed faintly in blue, like old lights trying to wake up. Jack's eyes widened. What the hell is this? He took a few careful steps. The air was cooler here. The ground was smooth. He walked slowly, heart pounding. Every step echoed. The tunnel went deeper and deeper. After 5 minutes, the tunnel opened into a huge chamber. It was beautiful. Strange crystals grew from the floor and ceiling, lighting the room in soft blue light. In the center stood a stone pedestal with a black orb on it. Jack couldn't believe it. This isn't human. He stepped forward. The orb seemed to pull him closer. It was smooth, like glass. But inside it swirled with light. Blue, silver, gold. He didn't know why, but he touched it. Instantly, the room shook. Light exploded from the orb, rushing into the walls, into the symbols, into Jack. He screamed. It wasn't pain. It was too much. Memories that weren't his. Images. A city with towers reaching the clouds. Creatures, tall, thin, with glowing skin. A war, fire, silence, darkness. Then, nothing. Jack collapsed to the ground. Time passed. Maybe minutes, maybe hours. When he opened his eyes, he wasn't alone. Shapes stood around him. Tall, alien, beautiful, in a way he didn't understand. Their skin shimmered like stars. Their eyes glowed with soft light. One stepped forward. You have touched the stone of memory, it said in a voice that echoed in his mind. You are not of our kind, and yet you are chosen. Jack tried to speak, but no words came. Another figure stepped forward. You are the first to awaken the chamber in 1,000 cycles. We thought our time was over, but perhaps there is hope. Jack sat up, confused and afraid. What is this place? He asked quietly. The alien looked at him. This is the heart of Valari. And you, human, have just become part of our future. Then everything went dark again. Outside the cave, Jack's radio crackled to life for 1 second. Jack, do you copy? Your signal just vanished. Are you okay? No answer. Jack Rivers had disappeared without a trace. And beneath the surface of Mars, something ancient had finally woken up. The Last Guardians. Jack opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt. His body felt heavy. He was lying on a bed, but it wasn't soft. It felt like stone, warm stone. The room was glowing with soft blue light. Strange plants grew on the walls. They moved slightly like they were breathing. The air smelled sweet, almost like flowers. Jack sat up. He wasn't in the tunnel anymore. He wasn't even sure he was still on Mars. He looked around. The walls were covered with carvings, stories, battles, stars. In the center of the room stood one of the tall alien beings. Its skin shimmered like moonlight on water. It watched him silently. Jack slowly stood. "Where am I?" he asked. "The beam." Alien tilted its head. "You are in the chamber of the last guardians. We have waited a long time." Jack blinked. "Waited? For who?" "You," the alien said. "The one who would wake the memory stone. The one who could hear us." Jack laughed a little. "I think you've got the wrong guy. I'm just a miner. I dig rocks for a paycheck. That's it." The alien walked closer. "Our kind is almost gone. We are the Valari. Once we ruled stars. Now we hide beneath them." Another alien entered the room. She was smaller, her face softer, kinder. She looked at Jack with curiosity. "He's not like us," she whispered. "He doesn't carry the mark." "No," the other replied. "But the stone chose him." Jack felt overwhelmed. "Look, I don't know anything about your people or your war or your stone. I just followed a strange signal and fell into this dream." The female Valari stepped forward. "It's not a dream. The stone unlocked our language in your mind. That's why you understand us now." Jack touched his head. They were right. He didn't know how, but he could hear their words in perfect English, even though their mouths barely moved. The first alien spoke again. "We are the last guardians of Valari. For centuries we waited for a sign. A voice from the past told us someone would come. A stranger, a spark. Someone who did not belong, but would carry our legacy forward." Jack shook his head. "You're saying I'm your savior?" "No," said the female softly. "You are our last chance." Just then, the walls began to hum. A deep sound filled the room, low and ancient. The first alien looked toward the door. "They have found us." "Who?" Jack asked quickly. The alien's voice turned hard. "The others. The broken ones. The betrayers. They wish to finish what they started centuries ago." Jack's chest tightened. "You mean someone's coming to kill you?" "To end the Valari forever." A third alien entered. He was armored, his eyes sharp. "They have breached the outer passage. We must move the human." Jack was confused. "Why me? Why now?" The armored one turned to him. "Because you're the only one who can sit on the throne." Jack blinked. "Throne?" The first alien nodded. "It is locked to us. Only someone untouched by our history, someone pure of Valari blood can claim it now." Jack stepped back. "You want me to be your king?" "No," the female said softly. "We need you to survive. If you fall, we all fall." Outside the chamber, distant sounds echoed, shouting, footsteps, something heavy being moved. The armored Valari handed Jack a glowing object. "This will guide you. If we are lost, follow the lights to the heart chamber. The throne will know you." Jack stared at the device in his hand. It pulsed gently, like it was alive. "What if I mess this up?" he asked. The female smiled, sadly. "Then the stars will forget us forever." The door burst open. A group of strange, deformed Valari rushed in. Their eyes burned red. Their armor was cracked, their bodies broken. The guardian stepped in front of Jack. "You must run," the first alien said. "Go." Jack hesitated. He looked back once, then turned and ran into the glowing tunnel, the device in his hand, lighting the path ahead. Behind him the sounds of battle began, and Mars held its breath once more. The Bloodstone Throne. Jack ran through the glowing tunnel. The path twisted and curved like a snake. The light in his hand pulsed stronger with each step. Behind him, the sounds of the fight grew faint. He didn't know if the Guardians were still alive. He didn't know if he could help them, but the device kept pulling him forward, like it had a mind of its own. Finally, the tunnel opened into a huge circular chamber. It was unlike anything Jack had ever seen. The walls sparkled with crystals that danced in different colors. In the center of the room stood a giant stone chair, red as blood, shining like it was alive. The bloodstone throne. It pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Jack took a step forward. As he moved closer, the carvings on the walls lit up one by one. He saw images, stories, memories, battles. A history told without words. He saw a great war between the Valari and their twisted brothers, the Forsaken. He saw a peaceful world turn into fire. He saw kings rise and fall. And then he saw something strange, a human, just like him. Standing before the throne, holding the same glowing device Jack now held. But this human was old, tired, and alone. Before Jack could understand more, the carvings stopped glowing. The throne pulsed again, faster this time. Jack stepped closer. His hand trembled. "You want me to sit?" he whispered. The room didn't answer, but the device in his hand dissolved into light. That light flew into the throne and vanished. The throne responded. It moved. With a low hum, the stone shifted and opened, revealing steps. Jack climbed them slowly. His heart pounded like a drum. He sat down. At first, nothing happened. Then the world exploded in his mind. Memories, millions of them, rushed into him. Thoughts, voices, lives. He was no longer Jack the miner. He was Valari kings and queens, warriors, builders, artists. He saw their rise, their glory, their fall. He felt their love, their pain, their fear. Jack screamed, but his voice didn't echo. It vanished in the power of the throne. And then, silence. When Jack opened his eyes, the room looked different. He could see things. He couldn't before. Hidden doors, secret symbols, he knew their meanings now. The throne had changed him, not just in his mind, in his soul. Jack stood. He didn't feel like a king. He felt like a ghost carrying the hopes of the dead. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. He turned fast. It was the female guardian, wounded, limping, blood on her robes. "You found it," she said, her voice weak. Jack ran to help her. "You're alive?" She nodded slowly. "Only me. The others? They bought you time." Jack felt his chest tighten. "I'm sorry." "No," she whispered. "They believed. We all did. And now, it's up to you." She looked at the throne. "It accepted you, didn't it?" Jack nodded. "Yes. I saw everything." Her eyes softened. "Then you know. The throne connects the living with the ancient. You are now part of us. Forever." Jack looked at his hands. They still looked human. But he didn't feel the same. Something inside him had changed. Something deep. "I don't know if I can do this," he said quietly. She smiled. "None of our kings ever did. Not at first." She coughed, blood on her lips. "There is something else. Something the throne didn't show you." Jack looked at her. "What?" She pointed toward a wall. It was blank stone. But Jack saw the shimmer now, an invisible door. "It leads to the core of Valari," she said. "To the ancient engine that still powers this place." Jack helped her sit. "What's inside?" She looked into his eyes. A warning. As Jack walked toward the hidden door, his hand touched the wall. It melted away, revealing a tunnel bathed in golden light. He stepped inside. At the end of the tunnel was a giant glass chamber. Inside floated a small, glowing sphere, beating like a heart. As Jack stared at it, a voice echoed through the chamber. "You are not the first, and you will not be the last." Jack turned sharply, but there was no one there, only the pulse of something very old and still very alive. Training a human king, Jack didn't feel like a king. He stood in the glass chamber staring at the glowing sphere floating in front of him. Its slow pulse echoed through the floor and into his chest. It was alive, but not like a heart. It felt ancient, like it had watched stars die and galaxies fade. "What are you?" Jack whispered. A soft voice answered from the walls. "I am the core of Valari. I remember all that was, and all that could be." Jack stepped closer. "What do you want from me?" "To survive, to lead, to restore what was lost." The light dimmed. "But first, you must be remade." Suddenly, beams of golden light shot out and wrapped around Jack. He gasped, unable to move. His body lifted into the air. The light scanned him, entered him, changed him. He saw images, training, battles, lessons, memories of rulers before him. Knowledge flowed into his mind like a flood. He dropped to the floor with a gasp. He knew how to speak the old tongue now. He could read the walls. He understood Valari machines. He could even feel the core's pulse in his bones. But it wasn't just knowledge. Something darker had entered him too. Fear. A warning that something else, something terrible, was also waking up. For the next few days, Jack trained alone. The female guardian, her name was Sarai, helped when she could. Her wounds had slowed her, but her spirit remained strong. "You must learn to use the Staff of Echoes," she said, handing him a long silver rod. Jack took it. It felt cold, but when he focused, light bloomed from the tip. "It listens to your mind," Sarai explained. "It will protect you or destroy you depending on your thoughts." Jack trained for hours, practicing with the staff, activating old systems, reading ancient scripts. He still made mistakes. He still doubted himself. One night, while resting, in the throne chamber, he asked, "Sarai, why me? Why not one of your own?" She sat beside him, silent for a moment. "Our kind is broken," she said at last. "The throne rejects us now. Our blood is corrupted from war and betrayal. Yous are outside our history. You are untouched." She turned to him. "You carry hope. And sometimes, hope needs to come from somewhere new." Jack looked at the glowing throne. "I'm just scared I'll fail." She gave a small smile. "That fear means you care. That's what makes a real king." But not everyone believed in Jack. One evening, as he walked through the old halls, he felt something strange. He wasn't alone. Suddenly, a figure dropped from the ceiling, tall, fast, armored in black. Jack raised the staff, but the figure struck it aside. A blade touched his throat. "You don't belong here." "Human," the voice hissed. It was another Valari. His armor was marked with deep scars. His eyes glowed with anger. "I am Corin, son of the last true king," he growled, "and I will not kneel to dirt blood." Jack stayed still. "Then kill me. But the throne chose me. Not you." Corin hesitated. His grip tightened. Then Sarai appeared, her staff glowing. "Enough!" Corin backed away, but his eyes stayed locked on Jack. "This human will bring ruin," he spat. "You'll see." He vanished into the shadows. Later that night, Jack stood, alone in the chamber of memories. He stared at the carvings. So many stories. So many failures. He touched one symbol. It lit up and showed him a vision of a massive alien fleet heading toward Mars. Ships shaped like knives. "Darkness behind them, they are coming," said the core. Jack turned. "Who?" "The Forsaken." The vision faded. And now, Jack knew what his real training was for, not just to rule, but to lead a dying world into war. Secrets of the stars. The stars above Mars were quiet, but under the red soil, secrets that had slept for thousands of years were waking up. Jack stood inside a hidden archive chamber, led there by the core's soft voice. The chamber walls were different from the others, made of smooth black stone that swallowed light. Symbols didn't glow here. They whispered. "You said the Forsaken are coming," Jack said, his voice low. "But who are they really?" The core's reply was slow. They were Valari once, but they broke the oath. They drank from the Star Forge. It changed them, twisted them. Why? Jack asked. Why betray their own kind? Because they feared death, and they wanted to live forever. Jack stepped forward. A wall opened like a mouth, revealing a spiral staircase leading down into deep darkness. Sarai had begged him not to come. There are things even the throne fears, she had said. Some truths should stay buried. But Jack couldn't stop. Now, not when he felt the pull. Not when something in his blood said, "You've been here before." He descended slowly. At the bottom, a round door stood sealed with 3 symbols: a star, a tear, and a flame. Jack reached out. As soon as his hand touched the surface, the door opened with a deep sigh, like it had been holding its breath for 1,000 years. Inside, a soft red light filled the room. In the center was a stone table. On it, a golden book floated in midair. Jack reached out, and the book turned its own pages. What he read changed everything. The prophecy was a lie. It didn't name one savior. It named 2, a stranger from the stars, and the one born from royal blood hidden during the last days of the war. Jack whispered, "There's another, someone else like me?" "No," said a voice behind him. Jack spun around. It was Sarai. Her eyes were wet. "Not like you. She's one of us. She's the true heir." Jack's heart pounded. "You?" Sarai nodded. "My mother was the last queen. She hid me during the fall. The others didn't know. I never wanted the throne, never believed in fate, but I always knew the truth." Jack was silent. Sarai walked to the floating book. "You were never meant to rule alone, Jack. The prophecy needs both of us, one who remembers the stars and one who walks among them." They left the chamber together. Jack's mind was heavy. Everything he had done, the training, the throne, the vision of war, and now this. "You should be queen," Jack said quietly. Sarai shook her head. "No. We lead together. That's what the prophecy says." Jack stopped walking. "But the others? Corin? They won't accept this." "We'll make them," she said, "or we'll fall." Back in the main chamber, the core spoke again. "There is more you must see." The throne lit up. A hidden panel opened near the base. Inside was a smooth, flat disk. Jack touched it, and a star map exploded into the air above them. Thousands of points, hundreds blinking red. Only one stayed blue. Mars. Jack stared. "What is this?" "A distress signal," the core replied. "From every Valari colony still alive." Sarai gasped. "Some of them survived." Jack pointed. "But why haven't they come here?" The core paused. "Because the Forsaken control the space between, and the queen who ruled them still lives." Jack's blood went cold. "The queen?" he asked. "Of the Forsaken? She is the one who betrayed us. She is the one who drank the fire of the Star Forge. And she is coming." Suddenly, alarms rang through the walls. A signal flashed in the air above the throne. A massive ship had entered Mars's orbit, its shape like a black serpent cutting through the stars. Jack looked at Sarai. "She's not coming," he said. "She's already here." War of the Fallen. The sky above Mars turned black. A shadow spread across the surface. It wasn't nightfall. It wasn't dust. It was her ship. From the top of the ancient tower, Jack and Sarai stood side by side. The serpent-shaped vessel hung in orbit, stretching from one horizon to the other. Its dark surface shimmered like glass, pulsing with red veins. "She's arrived," Sarai said. Jack nodded. "The Queen of the Forsaken." Sarai's hands shook. "Her name was Virella. She was once a teacher, a healer. My mother trusted her." "And she betrayed all of you," Jack said. "No," Sarai whispered. "She betrayed herself first." The core's voice echoed through the stone halls. "The shield will not hold. You must prepare for battle." Jack turned to Sarai. How many soldiers do we have? Sarai looked down. Less than 200. Jack's face darkened. And how many does she have? Thousands, Sarai said. Born from the fire, fed by war. Jack paced. Then we need to change the rules. He touched the throne. Lights flickered. The walls opened, revealing hidden halls filled with weapons, swords of light, armor that shimmered like air, flying drones shaped like birds. The Valari forgot who they were, Jack said. It's time we remind them. Hours later, Jack stood in the central chamber, dressed in golden armor etched with ancient words. At his side, Sarai wore the armor of her mother, queen's armor with the royal crest on her chest glowing softly. Jack raised his voice. We do not fight because we're ready, he said. We fight because this is our home now, and if we fall, let the stars remember we stood tall before the dark came. The last Valari cheered, not with fear, but with fire in their hearts. Then the ships fell. Black pods screamed through the sky and slammed into the surface. Out of them came the Forsaken, twisted beings with red eyes, broken wings, and weapons made of living metal. Jack and Sarai led the charge. The battle was like a storm. Jack fought like someone who had lived 1,000 lifetimes. The Staff of Echoes glowed with each strike, sending waves of energy into the enemy. Sarai moved like light itself, her blade humming as she cut through the darkness. But they were losing ground. One by one, the defenders fell. In the middle of the battle, a new shape stepped onto the field. She was tall, her armor black and smooth, her crown shaped like a flame. Virella. She walked calmly, untouched by the chaos around her. Her voice was quiet, but everyone heard it. Child of Valari, she said, looking at Sarai. Why do you stand beside the dirt-blood human? Jack stepped forward. Because I'm the one who woke the throne. Virella smiled coldly. And what will you do with it, miner? Build castles in dust? You are nothing. Jack raised the staff. We'll see. She raised her hand and the ground cracked. A massive creature rose, part machine, part beast with chains for arms and fire for eyes. Jack pushed Sarai back. Go, I'll hold it. Sarai hesitated. Jack, no, go, he shouted. Jack faced the creature alone. It roared and charged. Jack ran, dodged, struck with the staff. But it wasn't enough. It grabbed him midair and threw him into the rocks. He hit hard. His armor cracked, his vision blurred. The core's voice echoed faintly in his mind. You cannot win like this. You must give more. What do you mean? Jack whispered. You must give part of yourself and to awaken what sleeps below. Jack looked at the ground and made his choice. He stood, blood running down his face, and drove the staff into the earth. I give everything, he said. The ground exploded with light. From deep beneath Mars, something ancient woke up. A giant machine, round, golden, glowing, rose through the dust. It was shaped like a knight with wings made of stars. It was Valari's final guardian. It opened its chest, and Jack stepped inside. Now he wasn't just a man. He was the voice of Mars. The battle wasn't over, it was just beginning. The human king of Valari. The sky above Mars lit up with golden fire. The great machine, Valari's final guardian, stood tall, wings wide, its body glowing with ancient light. Jack stood inside it, his hands on glowing controls, his thoughts linked with every part of the armor. He no longer felt like a man. He felt like the planet itself. The battlefield went silent for a moment. Even the Forsaken stopped, staring at the golden figure rising from the red dust. From the far side, Virella watched without fear. Her eyes narrowed. So, the planet still remembers, she whispered. But it is too late. She raised her arm. Thousands of Forsaken screamed and charged. Inside the Guardian, Jack closed his eyes. He could feel everything. The rocks beneath, the wind above, even the pulse of the ancient Valari power. The machine moved as he thought. With one step, it crushed the first wave of enemies. With one sweep of its shining blade, It sent shockwaves across the field. Valari defenders cheered. Sarai fought beside them, her eyes never leaving the golden giant. Her heart beat faster. "Come on, Jack, hold the line." But Varela had not come without her final weapon. She raised both hands. The sky cracked open. A storm of black fire poured down. It wasn't just heat. It was memory, anger, pain, twisted into energy. The guardian staggered. Inside, Jack screamed as his body shook. The light inside him began to flicker. The core's voice returned. "She feeds on fear. You must break the chain." Jack looked into the past, into the memories of 1,000 Valari kings. All had failed to stop Varela. All had fallen trying. But he wasn't Valari. He was human. That was his difference. "Enough," Jack shouted. He flew forward, the machine's sword blazing with white fire. He clashed with Varela in a storm of sound and light. But she was stronger than before. Their battle shook the sky. Stone towers crumbled. Flames danced on the wind. And then, Varela struck. A black spear pierced the guardian's chest. Inside, Jack gasped. His vision blurred. The controls dimmed. Outside, Sarai saw the machine drop to one knee. "No," she cried. She ran to the fallen guardian, climbing onto its arm. She placed her hand on the metal. "Jack, you're not alone." Her voice reached him, and something new sparked inside the machine. A second light, golden and blue, Valari and human. Together. The guardian rose again, brighter than ever. Not because of Jack alone, but because of both of them. Jack and Sarai. One mind, one will. The guardian's wings opened wide. Varela stared, unsure for the first time. "This is impossible." "No," Jack said, his voice echoing across the land. "This is hope." The guardian charged. Blade met darkness. The firestorm broke, and Varela fell. She collapsed, her crown shattering. Her armor cracked, her eyes filled with tears. "I just wanted us to live," she whispered. Sarai knelt beside her. "And you could have, but not through fear." Varela's eyes closed, and the Forsaken dropped their weapons. The war was over. 1 week later, the Valari gathered in the great chamber. Jack stood before the throne, armor gone, his face tired but calm. Sarai stood beside him. They didn't sit on the throne. Instead, they built a new one, half gold, half stone. A seat for unity. Jack looked at the people. "I was just a miner," he said. "But this place changed me, and I believe it can change you too." He turned to Sarai. "She is your blood, your voice, your future." Then quietly he stepped back, and Sarai sat down as queen. The chamber glowed with blue light. Valari had a future again. Final scene. Jack stood outside the temple, looking at the stars. He heard a voice behind him. "You could stay?" He turned. Sarai stood there, smiling. Jack smiled back. "I think I'll always be part of this place, but Earth still needs me." She nodded. "Then go. But never forget, you were the king of a dying world, and you made it breathe again." Jack looked at the sky one last time. Then he walked toward the ship waiting for him, not as a miner but as a legend.